What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, Terence Bud Crawford, who is widely considered the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, absolutely destroys former IBF welterweight world champion, British superstar boxer, Special K Kell Brook. He dominated Kell Brook. The first half of the fight, the fight only went 4 or 5 rounds. In the first couple of rounds, first 3 rounds, Terence Crawford, was struggling to figure out the distance of Kell Brook. As I told you guys, Kell Brook has a great jab. Kell Brook has a beautiful jab, and Kell Brook is very technically sound. But once Terence Crawford came out in the orthodox stance. Once Terence Crawford switched to the southpaw stance, you could see where Terence Crawford was having success. I said this in the first half. At the end of the second half of the first round, you could see where Terence Crawford switched from orthodox to southpaw, and when he started to have the success against Kell Brook at the end of that round. Kell Brook could not figure out Terence Crawford once he switched to southpaw. I told you guys, that Terence Crawford is just so versatile. He has too many tools in the toolbox that Kell Brook is who you see. Kell Brook is what you get. You are going to get the same version of Kell Brook that fought Errol Spence. You're going to get the same version of Kell Brook that fought Gennady Golovkin. You're going to get the same version of Kell Brook that fought Sean Porter. There is no different dimensions to Kell Brook's game. I told you guys once Terence Crawford figured figured Kell Brook out, that he had enough tools in the toolbox. He would make the necessary adjustments to dominate Kell Brook, and that's exactly what he did. Kell Brook jab was giving him trouble from the orthodox stance, as I stated. But once Terence Crawford switched to southpaw and got his lead right foot outside of Kell Brook's left foot, I knew it was all she wrote, because he opened the door for Terence Crawford to land a straight left. Now, Kell Brook was landing a lead right hand at that point in time. He continued to land that lead right hand, and like I said, his jab was giving Terence Crawford a lot of problems. One thing I take away from this fight is that I think that Errol Spence's jab is going to give Terence Crawford a ton of problems. Now, I think that Terence Crawford definitely was going to have to fight Errol Spence in the orthodox stance, because if he fights him in the southpaw stance, he doesn't have the advantage for the jabs. Errol Spence is used to that. He's going to have to fight the entire fight against Errol Spence in an orthodox stance, so that way he can nullify Errol Spence's jab with his straight right hand, right? And make Errol Spence hesitant to let his jab go. But like I said, I wasn't surprised. Terence Crawford was the bigger guy in the ring. Kell Brook was more muscular. Terence Crawford was clearly the taller man. He was more rangy. He was not as muscular as Kell Brook, but that's not his game. He has more of a wiry frame. Kell Brook has a 69-inch arm reach. Terence Crawford has a 74-inch arm reach. He has a 5-inch arm reach advantage over Kell Brook, as I told you guys. And once he started to, get his range, it was going to be very difficult for Kell Brook to get his range, because Kell Brook was going to have to leap in. And Kell Brook got caught. Terence Crawford caught him, rocked him, and he never recovered. He dropped him. He got up, and once he got up, you could see he was on shaky legs. He completely did not know where he was at. The referee gave him an opportunity. The referee said, "You okay?" He said, "Yeah." Terence Crawford, as soon as he allowed them to continue, resume the action, Terence Crawford went in and closed the show, as you know he would have done. If anybody you hurt against Terence Crawford, he's going to close the show. And that's exactly what he did. He closed the show against Kell Brook. But like I told you guys, Terence Crawford, is just more versatile. This is what I expected. I expected this to happen in the 9th round. But it happened in the 5th round. I believe that was the 5th round, if I'm not mistaken. He caught him with a hook. Then he started catching him with a right hook. And as I told you guys, I thought Terence Crawford was going to stop him. I thought the referee was going to stop it, and that's exactly what happened. He was taking punishment, taking too many big punches, and the referee called the halt to it. He dropped him. I knew he wasn't going to knock him out cold, but I knew it was going to be an accumulation of punches, and that's exactly what happened, accumulation of punches. And Eventually, Terence Crawford got the stoppage victory. Referee jumped in. He saw enough. Kell Brook was on his way out anyway. I thought that Kell Brook eyes wasn't going to hold up. His left eye started to show a little bit of swelling under the left eye. But Terence Crawford's right eye started showing damage due to the fact that Kell Brook was landing that right hand completely, constantly. So with that said, you know, on to the next, man. I would love to see Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter. That's the fight I want to see. Shawn Porter's ranked #1 in the WBO ranking system. And the fight I want to see is Showtime Shawn Porter and Terence Bud Crawford. As we know, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are both vying to get a fight and a showdown with 8-division world champion, legendary Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pacquiao, who holds the WBA welterweight world championship belt. I want to see Terence Crawford versus Showtime Shawn Porter. He's looking to get the fight with Manny Pacquiao. Let's see how that plays out. Obviously, Manny Pacquiao, has some decision to make. He's been inactive since he fought Keith Thurman, so we have to see how Manny Pacquiao comes out. Obviously, he names Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence as opponents that he wants. Those are the big fights he wants. Bob Arum recently stated that Terence Crawford didn't want to fight Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman. He has his sights solely set on Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence Jr. So we got to see how that all unfolds and see how that plays out. But just like I told you guys, Terence Crawford had more tools in the toolbox than Kell Brook. He's just more versatile. He's going to make the adjustments to Kell Brook and what Kell Brook does great. And that's exactly what he did. He made adjustments. Kell Brook doesn't make adjustments. He is who he is. He is who you know him to be. And Terence Crawford made the adjustments to the range and the distance and the power and the strength for Kell Brook. And he closed the show, as I knew he would. So I told you guys, I thought the stoppage was going to happen in the 9th round. It happened a little earlier than the 9th round. But kudos to Terence Crawford. I want to see those big fights with Shawn Porter and Errol Spence Jr. But I would love to see Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford. So let's see how this all plays out. But Terence Crawford gets a stoppage victory over Kell Brook in the 5th round. I told you he was going to get the stoppage, but he just got it in the 5th round instead of in the 9th round. But drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.